hand, G.I. Joe never got out of the trenches this year, and Star Wars toys really never got off the ground.
All the hullabaloo about Coleco's Cabbage Patch Kids has actually taken some of the heat off of a competitor who's also having trouble keeping a couple of very popular toys on the shelves.
The toys are stuffed Ewoks and stuffed Care Bears. If you can find one, you probably can't find the other, except in miniature, which many parents are buying in lieu of the stuffed Care Bears kids really care about. Both the Bears and the Ewoks are Kenner products. Why didn't Kenner's research supply enough for the demand?
You can do all the market testing, you can do all the studies, but until that toy is out there and until it really gets into the hands of the kids, you have no way of knowing.
Though Ewoks are selling, other stuffed Star Wars figures bombed a few years ago.
And so when we brought out the stuffed Ewok, we were conservative in the manufacturing, just as the retailers were conservative in their ordering.
And ordering is done back in the spring. It's just too late now to crank out all the toys the company could sell. But it's also part of the toy game.
And kids are so fickle, and the toy market is such that it changes each year, that you really need to create the toys and sell the toys when the toys are hot.
But this year, many parents are hot about the most wanted toys that nobody's got. Jack Helsel, Channel 5, Action News Tonight.
It goes without saying, toys were high on the consumer Christmas list. Of course, if you had stock in Coleco and Hasbro, chances are you made a lot of money this year. Transformers and Cabbage Patch Kids were the hottest selling items in Texas. On the other hand, G.I. Joe never got out of the trenches this year, and Star Wars toys really never got off the ground. 7 years after the release of the original movie, the Force isn't with them anymore.
Star Wars has been around a long time, and it's beginning to lose a little bit of its appeal with the kids. G.I. Joe is kind of the same direction. It still sells well, but just doesn't sell as well as it used to.
In ladies' fashions, big-ticket items, such as lingerie and furs, did well. For example, Merle Norman Cosmetics had a good season with lingerie.
Most stores and chains have already placed their major orders for the Christmas buying season. But the Dallas World Trade Center is offering another opportunity for buyers this week, with more than 30,000 square feet of exhibit space displaying the old and new in toys. Toy distributor Duke Travis has been in the business for more than 30 years, and he says although some of the old-time favorite toys are still popular, the business itself has changed over the years.
It's gotten bigger in all fields. It's gotten bigger, both in manufacturing. It's become highly specialized. Back when I started, you were a drummer, and you took a briefcase and a few samples and went out in the territory. $3 a day hotels. Things have changed quite a bit.
Building blocks, wooden toys, dolls, and stuffed animals are still big sellers. But manufacturers are also turning out highly sophisticated toys and games. Several complicated games are on the market which use computer chips to control the action. Toys and games based on television and motion pictures are still popular this year. Some of the biggest sellers stand to be those based on or closely resembling the film Star Wars. But the manufacturer who owns rights for those products has a problem. The movie was a much bigger success than had been anticipated, and some of the Star Wars toy line won't be ready in time for Christmas. But plenty of other cosmic, outer space-oriented toys are already on the market. Some of the ideas and inventions here are almost unbelievable. But manufacturers are not kidding. In fact, they say they never kid about anything as serious as toys. Doug Adams, The Texas News.
Do you know this man? If you have young children, they do.
1, 2, 3.
The power to make these kids know exactly who he is. 4-year-old Brian knows.
He-Man?
His name's He-Man. Have you seen him on TV?
Yes.
Do you have any He-Man figures at home?
Yes.
There could be a connection here. In this day of relatively flat toy sales, you have to have a hot item to rise above the crowd in the toy business. That's why giants like Mattel are no longer counting on just advertising to create those hot markets. They're coming to the malls, where America shops.
Well, malls have actually become the third largest form of entertainment for families. They bring their kids here, they do their shopping. This way they can have a little fun while they're shopping.
Fun, yes, but there's a message here that registers mostly on the kids. Kids who see a real person portraying a character they know through toys and television. And kids tell their parents what they want before Christmas. Why, it's a life-size Barbie doll. Did you ever think you'd see her in person?
No.
Just makes you want more, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously, the products need to be in the top of the children's minds so that when it comes that time to make those purchases, parents know what to look for and what their children want.
Grandparents, too. Lots of older folks come to these malls. Will you be my grandma? Yeah, thank you.
On your mark, get set, go!
When it's not a character, you put your product, in this case cars, in an extra exciting setting.
Whatever you want.
If there is a message in all this, it's that the hot items on the toy shelf won't be there as long as the toys your kids have no interest in. Translation, if you see it now, buy it.
I think people should start shopping now for their holiday purchases so that their children aren't disappointed. There will be some products that will definitely sell out and will be hard to find closer to Christmas.
For 20 years, Boston attorney Edward Swartz has been on a crusade to find toys that are dangerous to children. Topping his list as one of the 10 worst this year is He-Man's electronic Skeletor skull staff by Mattel.
On the box it says, this toy is to be used for lighting and sound effects only. Do not throw, strike at, or swing it at other people or animal objects. Now, come on.
Swartz says this toy could put a gash in a child's head or break a bone. He says other toys like this breathless Mahoney doll is a choking hazard to children because of its removable arms. He's also targeted my first Sony Walkman because he says it could blast young ears and cause hearing loss. Other toys Swartz says are hazardous include Robot Man Stellar, Robin Hood Prince of Thieves Sword and Dagger Set, Rabbit Animal Friend Gumball Machine, G.I. Joe Arctic Assault Carrier Ice Saber, and the Silver Bullet Slingshot. The FAO Swartz Slugger Bear made the list too, because Swartz says the bat could be swallowed. Some stores have already pulled the bear from its shelves. But toy manufacturers argue that any toy could be dangerous if not used properly, and they say their toys have been tested and they've received no complaints about the toys Swartz considers dangerous.
In some cases, they don't even have to be real robots. Ideal, like a lot of other toy companies, is launching a line of robot action figures. They do only what you make them do. But Ideal has a real robot that it will be marketing later this year. But it seems as if just about everybody is selling some kind of robot.
The response has been fantastic.
Tomy is introducing not one but 3 robots, although one is really little more than a mechanical toy. The Verbot responds to verbal commands.
That's the one I got to reprogram. Forward. Forward. Wowee.
And the Omnibot, a truly multifunction robot for just $199. This is just the start for a number of toy makers.
Technology is now at the point where we can do things we couldn't do 10 years ago. The smaller chips, the smaller the chip, I understand, the more that you can do with it. And we've become so sophisticated these days. In lifestyles, it only follows suit that our toys should be just as sophisticated.
Whether the robots are real or just make-believe robots, one way or the other, we're going to be seeing a lot of them on television between now and Christmas. Ed Martell, Channel 5 Action News, Dallas.
Junkman.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.